is a process of integrating one's whole system. It's a method for creating more happiness and freedom within the body. Yoga is our natural state, and we want to create the situation for that condition of yoga to arise more naturally within us. We can do this through yoga practices like intelligently sequenced vinyasa, chanting, Sanskrit, yoga philosophy, and also through skilled hands-on adjustments from the teacher. The Kaivalya yoga method is rooted in the teachings of Krishnamacharya. Krishnamacharya is a luminary yoga instructor who was born in 1898 in India, and much of yoga as it's been shaped in the West has been founded in his teachings. Some of his most notable teachers are Sri K. Pattabhi Jois, B.K.S. Iyengar, T.K.V. Deskachar, and these teachers have created yoga types in the West that have been morphed and drawn from and developed into what we know of as yoga here today. There are a lot of different practices and methodologies of yoga in the West today. That's true. But there's also a lot of different yoga practitioners. And what's great is that any yoga practitioner can find the teacher or the method that speaks perfectly to them. The Kaivalya yoga method was born out of requests by students who wanted something that was an easy approach, a non-dogmatic approach, a non-hierarchical approach, but an approach that was authentic and true to oneself. And after more than a decade of studying with some of the greatest teachers in the world, I've developed this way and this method to help students navigate through a yoga practice and an understanding that yoga is who we are. And we keep rooted to the traditions of yoga and the authenticity of yoga and the teachings of yoga, but we also interpret it for a modern day life and a modern day practitioner. Krishnamacharya actually has a prescription for what makes a good teacher. He says that there are 3 qualifications. The first is that we have a daily practice. And the daily practice is the way that we allow the yoga to begin to live inside of our bodies and to transform us. The daily practice changes us into the yogis who live in the world and not just on the mat. The second qualification is that we have a connection to lineage. So this tradition is connected through a lineage of teachers, not just back through Krishnamacharya, but close to the roots of authentic forms of yoga based on the 5,000 years of yoga tradition. The third qualification is that we must actually really like people. This is a social experience and a process of refining our relationships. So the Kaivalya Yoga Method teacher training is going to connect students who become teachers to each of these 3 points. Kaivalya is a word that is actually the title of the 4th chapter of the Yoga Sutras, and it's synonymous with samadhi, nirvana, enlightenment, happiness, or joy. Basically, it's the path of freedom that one finds within oneself. A few years ago, I was traveling in Australia and I saw a white peacock, and I was so struck by the beauty of this creature that I got to look into the mythology of the peacock and where it comes from and how it relates to yoga. And it turns out there's actually a rich connection with yoga mythology and the peacock. The peacock is often illustrated as the symbol of sattva, which is one of the 3 gunas, or the qualities of the universe. And it's the lightest quality, and when we cultivate this quality, it makes it easier for us to do our yoga practice. The peacock is also the only natural enemy of the king cobra, and the king cobra symbolizes the fear of death. And so when we overcome the fear of death and we are completely fearless, like the peacock, ingesting the cobra, you can still shine forth this incredible beauty. The peacock also has these feathers with eyes, and these are the 1,000 eyes of the peacock that allow it to see the truth. So I feel like this symbol and connection with the Kaivalya Yoga Method is a perfect illustration of what we achieve to do, to see the truth, to see through the veil of illusion, and to see who we really are, which is happy and free.